Hey guys, it's Natalia, and welcome back to Unfiltered Fashion Talks. Today I have my lovely friend Emily, super excited to talk. Also, disclaimer, my microphone doesn't want to work today, so it's just here for aesthetics, and I'm actually recording on my headphones, so I apologize if the sound quality is a little less than usual, but we're still here.
We've been
Um,
struggling, but we're here.
yes, it has been a rough time, but do you want to give us a little intro of yourself, a little, I don't know, whatever you want to say?
Hi, guys. My name is Emily Jackson. I'm from California. I was born and raised in the Bay Area. I am the designer and founder of Emily Hiroe. It's my women's wear line based in New York, and I'm here today because Natalia and I met studying in Italy. So yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Yes, I'm so excited to have you here. I think it's fun to have people that like I went to school with so we can actually talk about shared experiences and
Yeah,
stuff.
and we have a lot of shared experience.
A lot. I think studying abroad together, like our whole group, just so many shared experiences in that.
Yeah. Yeah, and actually, I think honestly, you may be one of like the last people I saw before the pandemic. I
Honestly,
remember rough
yes.
I remember roughly seeing you outside of FIT and we kind of did this like
Yes.
awkward like, oh, I don't know if we should like hug each other because of
Right.
COVID and then it was like a week later everything was shut down and life has just been
Yes.
crazy ever since.
I totally forgot about that. But yeah, we definitely ran into each other like in the streets, like right in front of FIT. I think I was like
Yeah.
out to get lunch with somebody or something, but
Yeah, yeah.
that is wild. It's wild that that was like so long ago.
I know, but it also feels like it wasn't that long ago because like life
Yes.
has been so stagnant with the pandemic, but also it's been
Yes.
so fast. But yeah, that was actually like 2 years ago, which is crazy.
No, that's so crazy. Like I have not processed that whatsoever.
I know, me
Um,
either.
so crazy. But anyway, you're also one of the few that graduated in the pandemic and did like an
Yeah.
associate's instead of I feel like half the people in like our at least like Italy class like did the associates and like the other half just like continued with bachelor's.
Mhm.
But what is your reasoning for only doing the associates?
Well, I already completed an associate's degree from FIDM. So actually, I feel like we should probably start there.
Right. I
So
totally spaced off. Like I have it written down in my little notes that you also went to FIT up.
yeah, no, it's totally okay.
But yeah,
So
let's go
yeah,
through that.
I studied at FIDM in San Francisco. I studied product development, and there I learned about like tech design and basically how to like make a garment from initial concept to like final design, but more on like a production side of it rather than like a creative side of it. So
Gotcha.
I could have continued there and got a bachelor's degree in technical design, or I feel like they have a few different options like that you can specialize in.
Mhm.
But then, yeah, I just definitely have a passion for like the creative part of fashion.
Right.
And yeah, so I continued there through FIT and I'm like, listen, I've already done 4 years. Like I can't do this any longer.
Yeah, I don't blame you. I literally did 2 years and I was out. Like,
I I don't know if it was like the best financial decision to have like 4 years of schooling to pay off, and I have
right,
two associate's degrees and not like one bachelor's degree. But
right,
I mean, it was a decision I made because I don't know about you, but when I was thinking about it, about going to fashion school, I wasn't thinking about it in terms of like actually getting a degree and then like going out and working in the
right.
workspace. I just thought, no, I'm here to learn how to make clothes
Yeah.
and I'm starting my business. That is exactly what I'm
Yes.
doing.
No, that was my exact mindset too. Like, that was why I didn't do the bachelor's. I was like, I don't care. Like, I thought I might have to work in the industry before starting my business, but I didn't necessarily want to.
Yeah. Also,
Um,
I think the rules in fashion are definitely different.
yeah, for
You know,
sure.
like there, I don't know, there are rules, but then at the same time, it's like people will hire you even if you don't have education. It's just kind of based off
Exactly.
your experience. So just do whatever you want. You'll figure
Yeah,
it out.
exactly. No, that's what I tell people too. I feel like your portfolio and your skills are so much more important than like whether or not you went to school for it.
Yeah, and honestly, in this industry, it's also based off of like connections and who you know,
Right.
which is kind of unfortunate because sometimes it feels like clicky and hard to obtain and
Yeah.
how to like get a position, but
But yeah, we're here. We've managed thus
we
far
definitely
anyway.
managed in a pandemic. And I don't know about you, but like I kind of feel like my experience at FIT was a little bit tampered because I basically had a semester and a few weeks, and then the pandemic happened, and then I finished
Exactly.
school from home. And yeah, I even when people ask me about it, I was kind of similar to you, saying like I don't really like FIT, but then I realized
Right.
I didn't even finish a complete year there in person. So who am
Exactly.
I to say I don't like it?
Literally. No, that's how I feel because I just don't feel qualified to talk about FIT ever, even though I get so many questions about it. I'm like, I spent more time at Polimoda than FIT,
Yeah, and of
which is
course we're
crazy.
obviously gonna love our experience in Italy way better than
Exactly.
New York. But I mean, I
Yeah.
would say like my experience with teachers were nice, but yeah, just the whole pandemic thing kind of ruined the last
Yeah.
semester for me.
It definitely did for me too. And I'm like sad about that.
And I recently learned that we were uh, we were like able to be in their graduation this
Yeah.
year. Did you
I
know about that?
didn't
I didn't know about that.
I found out when I saw people graduating. I was like, since when did we have a graduation? I did not know about that.
Yeah, I had absolutely no
I
idea.
know, and I'm
You know
so
what? I guess I graduated. It's fine, whatever.
I know, me too. I literally remember seeing people's like posts about it and I was like, excuse me? Like we had a graduation? Like
Yeah,
how did were we supposed to find out about it? I don't know.
and I didn't know because they canceled my email, like my student email.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure mine's
So,
not running either. So
oh, okay, okay. Well, they actually like terminated mine. You know how they're weird about the passwords, and like every 3 months you need to
yeah,
update
you
your
need to update
password.
them. Right.
So I reached out to them for like a separate reason, and then I think they realized I was an alum, and then they just terminated my account. Yeah, so then I never
Dang,
received an email.
that's rough. Well, I didn't even check my email anymore anyway, because I feel no reason to check my FIT email. So
Yeah,
I'm sure they sent it there and I just never looked.
yeah,
But it's fine. We still graduated, still got
yeah.
the degree. It's fine.
I
It's
mean, I
fine.
didn't have like a party or really any acknowledgement, but I don't
Right.
know about you, but like the last day, I just was like, oh, okay,
Yep.
nothing feels different.
Literally, I was like, I'm graduating from my parents' house in Indiana. Like, what?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was so sad about it because I literally had hyped up the idea of graduating in New York City like for the longest time. I was like, it's so cool. We're gonna get graduation at like Radio City Music Hall. It's gonna be like the coolest thing ever. And
Oh,
then it just didn't
is that
happen.
where they do it? See, I don't even know
That's where
that.
they usually do it. So that's
Oh,
where it
okay.
would have been. But like the graduation they had anyway wasn't there. It was at Central Park, I think.
Oh, okay. Oh,
But
you know what?
still,
I think I saw pictures, and yeah,
yeah.
I
I'm
see
like,
that was
would have been nice.
a little bit more of like a COVID safe space.
Right. But it's fine. But anyway, how was the like pandemic for you and like starting your business?
Um, where to start? Where to begin?
Yeah, that's a big question.
Well, first off, I feel like it's important to mention that before the pandemic, when
Mhm.
I was in my last semester of school, I was like, okay, I'm in this. Like, I know in a few months I'm going to be out of school and I want to start my business, and I need to like get ahead of this and start thinking about this now. Um, but yeah, so when the pandemic started, it actually, I personally feel like opened kind of like an opportunity where I had so much more time because before I was working part time and I was in school full time. So it was just like so much going on, and I never had time for like for myself or for like designing and being creative. So the fact that I had so much time when the pandemic started was really cool and really nice. So I mean, I think it's been really great because I've just been designing organically and just doing whatever I want. But it has its challenges, I would say.
Right. Right.
I mean, it's definitely difficult sometimes to like shoot. My first collection that I came out with last year, I was planning on shooting with models, but then I didn't
Yep.
really know how to do that in like a COVID safe way. But I would say like so far it's been really cool because I'm in this place where I'm like creating a foundation for exactly
Mhm.
what I want my line to be, and like what I want my aesthetic to be. So I can only look at it in a positive way.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel too. I feel like the pandemic was the one time I was like able to slow down and actually like think about my life and what I wanted to do and
Yeah.
all the things, and also just like be creative. Because I feel like when
Mhm.
you're in school, like, yes, you're creative, but it's also like forced creativity. And I don't
Mhm.
do that well in like forcing situations like
No,
that.
me either. And I think the way they try to teach you on how to create a collection is more based off of like an industry standard, where they
Yes.
want you to know how to like go into a company and sit down and how to sketch and create a whole lookbook within a day.
Right.
But in reality, for me, because I'm kind of always turned on to that like creative button,
Mhm.
I'm always just organically thinking and writing things down and
Right.
sketching, and it just comes to me like in a more fluid way rather than sitting down and like forcing myself to do it. So
Right.
that was honestly one thing that I didn't really enjoy in fashion school, was
Mhm.
sketching in that kind of environment.
Yeah, no, me too. Like, I'm the kind of person, like, for my own collections, I literally will source fabrics first and then try to come up with something. But if I'm like not inspired by fabrics, I can't just like randomly come up with something. And I
Yeah,
can't
and
like force it.
I don't know why they make a rule where you have to, have like your whole concept out first and then like fabric comes next.
Right.
Again, it's like another industry standard, but
Right.
yeah, for me, there's definitely, I would be totally lying if I said that there aren't fabrics that I see and I just go, okay, I'm gonna buy this now. And
Right.
then when I get home, I'm gonna figure it out. I'm gonna sketch out a
Literally.
bunch of shit and I'll go from there.
No, literally same. Just it's so much easier for me to think that way because I guess I like to visualize in color. So if I like already have the fabric, it's easier for me to visualize the final product. I don't know if that's legit or
Interesting.
not, but that's what I
No,
tell
I know.
myself.
I think that's a real thing. I think that's legit.
Yeah, that's just how it is. Anyway, switching gears into sustainability because I have to talk about it. I don't know if I ever like fully told you, but I think you're one of the first people I ever heard talk about sustainability in fashion. So I feel like I
Wow.
always credit it back to you,
That's
in
amazing.
all
Thank
honesty. Of
you.
course.
I
Please
mean, I listened
do.
to your podcast, so I did hear you
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about it
sure
in
I've
the first
mentioned it multiple
episode, and
times.
you name dropped me, and I was like, oh my
Yes.
goodness. I had no idea. That's seriously so awesome.
Yeah, I don't think I had ever actually like fully told you, but I started learning about it when we were in Italy, and I literally vividly remember you posting about how awful Zara was because obviously like everybody in Europe is obsessed with Zara.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I was literally obsessed with Zara. And I think it was like one day that I had literally just gone shopping at Zara and then you posted something about how unethical or unsustainable it was. I don't remember, one of the two. And I was like, oh my God, I'm the worst person ever. I need to stop this right now.
Oh no. Oh
Not like
my
in like you made it
goodness.
sound bad, but I was like, why have I been so like ignorant on this if I'm like part of the industry? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
like, I need to be better. So I
Well,
always credit it back to you.
yeah, I felt like, so studying in San Francisco and at FIDM, the whole program was definitely like integrated into sustainability. And I would just say like the culture in California is very
Yeah,
much like eco-conscious.
definitely.
So I went from a program where every single class was just talking about sustainability and also talking about fast fashion and specifically Zara. So Zara is unique because they were able to like revolutionize the fast fashion industry by cutting down the time of creating a garment to 2 weeks. So they own fabric mills, they own their manufacturers, and all of their team is like literally within the same area and in the same location. So whatever the ideas that is coming in, they're able to like start working right then. Like they're
Right.
able to make the fabric, they're able to make the patterns, and within 2 weeks like it'll be on shelves.
It's so
so
crazy.
so which is honestly so cool when you think about it in
Right.
retrospect, but then the harmful part about that is that it's based off of mostly like trends,
Mhm.
and we all know trends, they come and they go. So it's either
Exactly.
going to go really well or it's going to flop.
Right.
So clearly it's more based off of like quantity and selling more rather than like the actual quality of the garment. And you and I both know how much work goes into making a
Yes.
garment,
Yes.
it can really take forever. So I mean, to think about how many garments are being made so fast is kind of crazy. I honestly can't even really imagine it.
Honestly, me neither. I really don't understand how they are able to produce so much so fast
Yeah,
because it really is not that easy at all.
I know. I mean, and I always think like when I'm designing, when I finish making a garment, I'm like, okay, this is my first sample. I need to
Right.
make like a few. I need to perfect the fit. I need to perfect the silhouette. And yeah, I don't know. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's rough. And I feel like I always think about that too whenever I'm like designing something. I try to make stuff that like takes me the least amount of time possible because I'm like, I just don't know how the heck I would mass produce something like a
Yeah.
jacket or something like that. Like I would love to have a jacket in my shop, but I'm like, how the heck would I mass produce that? Like those take so long. It would
Yeah,
be so hard.
honestly, even my first collection that I came out
Mhm.
with last year, I had honestly, it's slipping my mind how many looks I had.
You had a lot.
I think I had 11 looks.
Yeah.
I might be wrong. Nobody come for me. I'm coming for myself. Yeah, so I had like a trench coat and I had like really complex
You
pieces.
did.
And then after I was like, wait, how am I
Yeah.
myself going to make all of these garments? I don't think it's possible. Like I
No.
am not gonna put myself through that. So now the collection I'm working on, I'm looking to do like in-house manufacturing in New
Mhm.
York.
Ah, love
So
that.
yeah, it's like a really small manufacturer, like I'm
Mhm.
able to like go in person and like meet the people and
Right.
I can see from my eyes like it's very ethical and people are working like
Right.
regular hours. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think for consumers, they never really have to think about what goes into a garment. I mean, that's also kind of like the luxury of being a consumer.
Right.
You don't have to think about it all. You can just go into a store and, if you wanted to like buy 500 shirts and then come home and you had to do nothing
Right.
more. I mean, you
Right.
had to work and make money and to
I mean,
purchase the
yeah, but
shirts. But yeah, I think now we're in a part with our society where people are like becoming more knowledgeable and just want to know more about like the behind the scenes. And I think it's really cool because in a way, like as a designer, I feel like I'm being celebrated in a better way and people are like actually seeing what's going on and can appreciate the art like from another level, which is really cool.
yeah, I love that a lot because I think even with the pandemic, so many people got into sewing just because
Yeah, no, that's
like it
definitely
became a
true.
trendy thing, which like is so cool. But I think that really opened up people to see how difficult it actually is to make clothes and like the whole process and like I think that's been super beneficial for the whole
Yeah, I've had
industry.
friends take sewing classes and then like hit me up
Right.
after, like, I have no idea how you do this. I'm like,
Exactly.
thank you. Honestly,
Yeah.
that's the best compliment you could ever give.
Literally. I'm like, it's harder than it looks. Like, I feel like it looks easy when you see like a little video of somebody just like sewing or whatever. I'm like, once you start doing it yourself, it doesn't always go that smoothly.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. But I also think that's like the beautiful part of this craft because there's always like a new challenge and new aspect that you have to conquer.
Right.
Like for me, I was just thinking about like I've never made a bra and
Me neither. And I would love
yeah,
to.
and it's like it's a whole other ballpark. I think
Yeah.
people think once you learn how to sew, you're good and you know how to sew. You can make
Nope.
whatever. No, 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 no.
No. No, no.
Every garment has like a different route, a different way of pattern making, different rules. So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I'm excited. I'm definitely over like the holidays. I think gonna start making bras and maybe
Ooh.
doing like a Valentine's Day
That
collection.
would be
So
so cute. I would love to learn how to do more like lingerie type stuff just because I find it so cool. Like I feel like it's so intricate and so like
yeah,
delicate. And like I
yeah.
love seeing people that like we went to school with that are doing like specializations in lingerie and like seeing their projects. I'm like, wow, I do not know how to do any of that, but that is so cool.
Did you think about what you would specialize in if you continued?
Yeah, I would have probably done special occasion,
Okay, okay. So that's
but
mostly like gowns and
Yeah,
Okay. See,
because
for
like
me,
I
I
love
literally
gowns,
did
but
not think about it at all. I don't even have an answer for you. I don't even know what like the specialization options are because I
I
was so
know there's
over it. I'm like, I'm done.
there's like special occasion knitwear is a specialization, lingerie. I think what's the other one? Oh,
Oh,
sportswear.
sportswear.
Yeah, that's
Okay,
like the basic
honestly, I
one.
mean, I probably would have done sportswear too.
Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like I also wouldn't want to specialize in something. Like I would have rather had 2 more years of just like more general knowledge, if that makes sense.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I feel like I don't know, I wouldn't want to like only do one thing for 2 years because I like to do a lot of different things.
Yeah,
Like I feel
no.
like I need variety. Like I feel like I would get bored if I was just doing lingerie for 2 years or
I
just
know.
doing gowns for 2 years, you
Listen,
know?
can you imagine if you chose to do something else with your life?
Oof.
You
No,
would have been stuck just I mean,
exactly.
no hate to
I
anybody who does
know.
that because I mean obviously I understand like it's important with
Right.
kind of like how our society runs, but for me, I personally just get so bored and
Me
so
too.
distracted very easily and I need something new and I need something
Yeah.
exciting. So
Yeah.
definitely the right path that I chose.
Yeah, no, I totally feel you. I get way too bored way too quick. Even with my own collections, like I'm already bored of the one that I just launched. And I'm
Yeah.
like already thinking of what I'm doing next. Because I
Yeah,
bought a bunch of
I hear
fabrics
a
and
lot of
stuff. I'm like, ugh,
musicians feel that way. Like when they release an
yeah,
album, they're like, listen, I've listened to every song on this album hundreds of times for the
exactly.
past 2 years, and now everybody's listening to it, and I want to stop listening to it.
Literally, no, that's how I feel. I'm like, I've made this collection. I literally started this collection in like July, like end of July, early August, and it just
Okay.
launched. I'm like, I just want to make something new. I want to look at different fabrics. I want to look at different colors. Like, I love it, but I'm over it. And I haven't
So
even
out of
started producing it.
out of curiosity, I mean, obviously, like
Yes.
I don't know if this is like a personal question, so you can like cut it out or keep it in or whatever. But typically for your garments, like how many quantities are you getting at a time?
It
Because I'm just
depends.
imagining how much
Yeah.
sewing that is for you. But I
Yeah.
know, didn't you say that you hired somebody?
Yes, I have somebody that's like freelance that comes in free once in a while. Like it's not super consistent, which is unfortunate. But yeah, I guess the quantities depend on how much fabric I have. Like there's some items that I have enough fabric to make like, I don't know, maybe like 10 to 15 of it. But then there's
Okay.
some items that I literally can only make like 2 to 3 of it, just
Okay.
depending on like the fabric because I like to use so much dead stock. Like sometimes there's just not enough of it. Like the green Adelaide dress that I launched, like that one
So
was like
gorgeous,
a
by
fan
the way.
favorite. And I literally only have enough to make like two.
Okay. Got it.
Just
Got
because I think I got like maybe 7 yards of it or something
it.
like
Okay.
that because that's what was available. But like if there were more available, I would have bought more and make more. But I don't know, it just depends on the item.
Are you sourcing fabrics kind of like all over the place or are you okay.
Yeah, I have like a few websites I like to go to just because I can't buy any in person and it literally makes me so mad.
Yeah.
Because I literally just have Joann's and I'm not about to
Oh
buy
my
anything at
goodness,
Joann's.
Joanne.
So I usually just like source them online. I bought some when I was in Spain, because my hometown has this little like market, like flea market every single Wednesday, and there's this guy that brings in a bunch of dead stock fabrics from like local designers and stuff. So I bought a bunch from him, which was really nice because they were also super cheap. But that was the only time I've ever bought anything in person, fabric wise.
Wow. And
Yeah,
it's honestly hard to order online too,
it is.
because
I hate it.
sometimes I honestly just bite the bullet and I don't even go for swatches. I just order
Me
it and
too.
just am like fingers crossed, whatever comes in
Yeah,
the mail, like I'm gonna figure it out. But
yeah.
yeah, it's rough. It's definitely rough.
Yeah, it's rough. Like there's a lot of websites that I use that don't necessarily do swatches or they sell out super quickly. So it's like I know I don't have enough time to do swatches and then order. And
Mhm.
especially with a lot of like the satins that I like to use, like I can never tell what the weight of them is going to be. And some of them
Yes.
end up
Oh
being
my
like so much
goodness.
thicker than I thought they would be, or like so much thinner than I thought they would be. So then I have to change my entire design concept because I was like, okay, well, this isn't going to work now for what I thought it was going to be. And it makes me so mad.
I know it's hard,
Ugh.
man. I'm in a position right now where there's like a specific store slash mill that I'm sourcing from, because everything they come out, they have like really a small options of fabrics. So I feel really lucky for finding them, because everything
Right.
they come out with I love,
Oh,
and I'm
that's the
able to
best.
order and it's so fast. The only thing that kind of sucks is that it is international, and I wish it was
Yeah,
somewhere a little bit more local in New York, but
I get
sometimes those
that.
are the decisions you got to make.
No, I feel that. There's like a certain store I order from that's like from Canada too. So it's like a little extra for shipping and the conversion
Oh yeah,
rate and all the things.
it's
But
crazy.
I'm like, I love it though. So I can't, got to make the sacrifices. There's nothing local to me. So at this point, everything is very external.
Do you feel like because you're a sustainable brand, it's a little bit more difficult going like the extra route, trying to find like a sustainable option? I mean, for
Yeah.
not specifically for fabric, but even if it's just for something like packages and labels and ribbons and all those things, do you feel like
Yeah.
it's easy to find a sustainable option, or you kind of have to do
Mm.
some research?
I feel like I have to do some research. I think it's like it's easy in a sense that like yeah, you can find a lot on the internet and you can look at like, certain stores like sustainability practices and stuff if they have that available, but I just would much rather be able to shop all those things in person, or at least like go to the place where things are being made and actually see what's going on.
Yeah.
Like even just like I don't know, I feel like if I were in New York, it would be so much easier to find a place to get like labels printed or get whatever little thing, or like trims and zippers and stuff like locally made and stuff like that would be so much
Yeah.
easier.
There's
But like
definitely
I
some
have
bright
to
spots in the fashion.
exactly, and like I know some, they'll get so mad, and I order from them online sometimes, but I just that's like extra shipping you have to pay for, and then it's not really sustainable to be shipping things in all the time because that's
Yeah.
like huge carbon footprint in that aspect of things, but I'm like I have no other choice,
Hmm.
so it kind of sucks. So that's like a big reason I want to leave Indiana soon, because I just hate having to outsource everything like and ship it in, and then maybe it's not what I thought it was going to look like, or like the colors are a little off because like you can never fully capture like a color on camera super well. So
Yeah.
that's also a struggle sometimes. But or even like buying thread is so hard sometimes because Joann's will like randomly run out of like white serger thread for like 2 weeks, and I'm like, what am I supposed to do now? And then I have to like ship it in, and then it takes longer, and like I just wish it was like much more available to me in that aspect.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult sometimes, speaking from, because I mean I didn't even say I am a sustainable brand.
Right, yes.
um yeah, I mean I think sometimes it is definitely difficult, like trying to find the sustainable option.
Mhm.
And when it comes to things like, oh well, should I ship this, and if I'm getting a
Right,
large quantity, does this make me like not sustainable? So you're trying to
right.
like balance out all of these things. And for me, I feel like I'm thinking about it all the time, and I'm trying to figure out
Mhm.
what's the best option. But sometimes like in this world, things just like aren't realistic in that kind of sense.
Exactly.
But yeah, when you think of a bigger brand, like a mass market brand or a fast fashion brand, clearly you know, like if you feel this way, you know the damage that they're doing.
Yes, exactly.
So I always remind myself, like, period, supporting a small brand or having a small brand is the most and always will be the most sustainable option. So
Yeah,
just me myself, regardless if I was even trying to source sustainable
right.
options, just existing and doing small batches already making a difference.
Yeah, no, that's what I always tell people too. I had somebody like recently message me saying that like they have a brand and it's like all ethical and stuff, but it's not necessarily super sustainable because they don't use like sustainable fabrics or anything like that, but it's like small quantity, like small brand kind of deal. And I was telling her, I was like, at the end of the day, like your small brand is probably more sustainable than like a big brand that's considered sustainable, just
Yeah.
because you're producing so much less, and that is already more than just using natural fiber fabrics like most sustainable
Yeah.
brands do. So I feel like it's always just a balance of priorities and what the bigger like I don't know picture is, I guess.
And right now I'm in a place. So when I first started making clothes, I went on this whole like denim denim thing where I'm
Yes.
upcycling jeans from the thrift store.
Mhm.
And that was like my main thing. And I was very vocal about being sustainable. And now
Right.
with Emily Hittaway, feeling I'm feeling like I'm testing it out of not speaking as much about it and speaking, more into like how my brand is sustainable because, I think we're in like a weird place as a society where, especially with fashion, where everything's like sustainable, sustainable, sustainable. And it's
Yeah.
really overwhelming to consumers because I don't think people know like what to believe and not to believe. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, the people who are out there and know sustainability, they're going to find me and they're going to know I'm sustainable.
Yes.
And then for the people who may even be like turned off by the idea of sustainability, might like still support my brand because like they didn't hear about it. But I'm curious, like, how do you feel about that? Like, did you think about that, or were
Yeah.
you like right away like, I want to be vocal about this, I want to be screaming from the rooftops, I'm a sustainable brand?
Yeah, I was kind of in between about it because I feel like I was relatively new to the sustainability space when I started. Like it's something I was still kind of researching for my own like personal life. Like I stopped buying fast fashion like when I came back from Italy, so like that summer of 2019. So
Mm-hmm.
like, summer 2020 is only like a year after, so I felt like I was still learning about what it meant and like, all the different aspects of it because I feel like when you're just a consumer, you just kind of look at very like, I don't know, vague ideas of sustainability, but like as a brand, it's like a whole other perspective that you have to think about and a lot of other like little steps that you don't think about as a consumer, like shipping and like I don't know other little things like tags and I don't know just random excess things that you wouldn't think about. So yeah, I don't know, I felt like for me at first I was hesitant on talking about sustainability because I feel like people didn't know me as that kind of person yet because like people
Mm-hmm.
in my personal life literally thought it was a joke that I stopped buying fast fashion because I used to be like so like
Yeah.
obsessed with shopping and like always having.
Man, it's so hard to change and evolve in this society.
Yes, it
People
is.
do
No,
not like it when you change and when you
no.
better yourself, but I
No,
mean,
and
I think it's great.
yeah, it was so like it took so long for people to accept that like I genuinely am like actually shifting that mindset over. Like my parents literally were like, yeah, good luck with that because they literally thought I was never going to be able to get over like my fast fashion shopping addiction. But I'm like it really wasn't that hard once you actually do it, but people really just like did not believe that I was that kind of person. So I feel like I hesitated on talking about that just because of that aspect. But at the same time, I knew it was kind of like a good marketing tool too.
Yeah,
So I was
yeah.
like, I need to like find some sort of balance. I feel like whenever I talk about it, I try to always be like, but I'm still learning or like, but I'm not 100% perfect. Like I feel like I always have to justify the fact that like I don't know everything and I'm not 100% sustainable because it's
Yeah.
impossible to be because
Well,
people
and
will
let's
attack.
be real. The most sustainable option is none of this. It's none of
Exactly.
this. We
Exactly.
really don't need anything.
No, we
We
don't.
only need shelter, basic clothing, and
Right.
food. And now, like, we get the luxury of being able to like dress ourselves and decorate
Right.
ourselves in so many different ways, which is so amazing. But there is that harsh reality that
Exactly.
where we're getting to, where there's just so much clothing. And honestly, like, even before I started my line, I, I feel overwhelmed when I go to the mall. I don't even go to the mall anymore, but I
Yeah, I don't either.
remember when I used to go, it's like it's crazy that we can go into a place and there's 300 different shirts, 300 different pants,
Yep.
all specifically in my size that I have the
Exactly.
option to purchase. And I think we're creating like an interesting dynamic of, I mean, I can only speak from like being American and in this
Right.
country
Right.
where we are just like all very greedy and we're consumers and we need everything now, now, now.
Yes.
So I love to see that we're kind of changing into a different direction of like less is
Exactly.
more and quality over quantity.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely a big problem, especially in the States. Like, as somebody who's like also European and like has family there and like sees that aspect of it, we're definitely so much more materialistic and like quantity over quality here than we like, I feel like the rest of the world. Granted, there's obviously going to be materialistic people everywhere in the world and like people who value quantity over quality anywhere, but I feel like overall, I don't know what it is about the US, but I feel like we're all so obsessed with consuming all the time. And
Yeah.
like myself included, like
I
still to
mean,
this
it's an
day,
addiction. It
it
really
really
is an
is.
addiction, whether it's shopping or it's buying a coffee every morning and just getting
Exactly.
that like little bit of endorphins of just
Yes.
purchasing something and you feel like you're being rewarded. It's
Yes.
it's honestly it's really bad. It's unhealthy. It's toxic.
Yeah, it's honestly rough. And I feel like that's a mindset I'm still trying to get over as well because I used to be such a heavy consumer just in general.
Do you feel
So,
like
ugh,
you still kind of like struggle with it or
a little bit. I feel like I don't know. I really try to fight my urges nowadays a little bit more and like really think about whether or not I need an item. But I feel like then I have this like internal battle of like, okay, maybe you don't need it, but if it's like something that you're really gonna like love and use for a super long time, then like maybe it's worth it.
yeah.
Like even with like little random like home decor things or stuff like that, that I'm like, is it a necessity? No. But is it something that might actually like enhance my life a little bit? Sure. So
Yeah.
it's like trying to
It's
find
all about
balance.
balance. It's all about
Exactly. It
balance.
really is. And I feel like it's different for everybody depending on, you know, like what you prioritize and what's like available to you too. So I feel like it's just
I
hard to, yeah.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off,
Oh no,
but
you're good.
I think it's changed a lot for me too because before I was on this, I'm only purchasing from thrift stores and
Mhm.
nothing else. And I was so disciplined about it for years. And, even like further than that, I just was not, a consumer really. I was
Right.
not like looking to purchase and have so many different varieties of garments and things like that. But I would definitely say like moving to New York, I don't want to say I've become more of a consumer, but kind of.
Honestly,
It
yeah.
de- it definitely it definitely changed a little bit once I moved to New York. But
Yeah.
I'm always like trying to find new ways of being sustainable. Like, okay, one thing that I noticed is that in California, like the trash and recycling system is it's neat, it's there.
Right.
Typically in a household, you have recycling, trash, and compost. And when
Mhm.
I moved to New York, it's just, there's just trash everywhere.
Literally. Oh my
And I
gosh.
mean, they try and make it seem like you're recycling and you're like dividing your trash, but then at the end of the day, or really at the end of the week,
Mhm.
when they get rid of trash, it's just all on the sidewalk and then a truck comes to pick it up. So I'm not so convinced that there's actually
Yeah.
a great recycling system in the city specifically. But yeah, I don't know. It's always just about trying to make the best decision, and it's
Exactly.
difficult and challenging in this world, but if you're
Yes.
out there and you're making the effort, I think there's something to say about that. That's definitely important.
Yeah, no, I think so too. I think that like the place where you live definitely affects it a lot too. Like you said, California is so much better than New York in that aspect of things and like better than Indiana too. Like I used to compost here at my house. Like I had a composting service that would come and like pick it up or whatever when I lived with my parents because like their address was like within the range that this company went to. But when I moved out, like my current address isn't within their range anymore, so I can't compost anymore. And I'm like so sad about it because I was like, I was doing it. Now I can't do it because it's not even available to me and there's no way to do it. And it's just like, it's so frustrating. I'm like, I wish like those type of things were more readily available. Or even like, I wish recycling was a little bit more just like better. I feel like places, like a lot of places in Europe, will actually like separate recycling out by like glass, plastic, and paper, which is like
Mhm.
something that is so easy to do at home. I don't know why we don't have those type of like things. in
I
place. I
know, I
mean,
know.
like it's so easy
Seriously.
to just be like, oh, let me put this glass bottle here and like this, like I don't know, separating things out is just such a simple task, and it would like help the recycling services so much, probably.
Yeah.
But
And it's crazy how like within our country it's so different everywhere.
yes,
I know you spoke about how growing up in Indiana, you feel like you didn't really know anything
literally,
about sustainability. And I mean, even that's like a fancy broad word, but
right,
you feel like you you kind of had an idea of just like being mindful, or
right,
like
right.
what exactly do you mean when you say that?
Yeah, I just feel like nobody here talks about it or cares about it at
Okay.
all. Like I feel like it's seen as some like weird hippie liberal thing. Do
Yes,
you know what
yes,
I mean? And like
yes.
everybody here is very
That bad
Republican.
stereotype.
And so I don't think it should be like a political thing whatsoever, but
No,
for
it
whatever
should
reason
not
I
be at
feel like
all.
people have it that way, which
Yeah,
makes no sense to me because I'm like it doesn't matter, you should just be good to the planet. But I think because people have that mindset here, they don't like to think about it because they associate it with like being more liberal or whatever, and
yeah,
it's
yeah,
just
yeah.
dumb. So
No, I definitely agree. I will say, growing up in California, I remember even like in elementary school, there's droughts all the time, like
right,
all the time.
right.
I remember they gave us this little like timer in school that you put inside your shower so that like when you get in, you turn on the water, like you flip it so you know how long you've been in the shower and how much water
That's
you're
so
using,
funny.
and basically telling you to like turn off the water like in between scrubbing and washing your hair. So I would say it's like pretty engraved there. But I would say that there's also like levels, and there are definitely people who probably look at it in that kind of way, that like it's like a hippie
Right,
liberal thing. But in reality, if you want to like take the word sustainability out of it, I think the better word is just mindfulness,
yeah,
and just like caring about, like what you take from the earth. Like
yeah.
I'm a vegetarian, I don't eat meat.
Hmm.
So I always think about that, how I'm trying to make an effort of like choosing plants over taking life, but then
Right,
within that like becomes also sticky. I don't know. It's
yeah,
it's
it's
very
hard.
complex because I know like people eat meat, and I know you eat meat, right?
Yeah, I mean
Yeah.
I eat mostly vegetarian like by myself in my house, but like if my parents are grilling out, I'm not gonna be like, not gonna eat that, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and
So like I
even
eat mostly vegetarian, but like,
also eating vegetarian is like also like there's a stigma about it, that it's like this
yes,
liberal thing. But
exactly.
I mean, I think it's mindfulness. That's the
I
word
think
I
so
like.
too. Yeah, especially nowadays that there's so many more options readily available for like vegetarians or vegans and all that stuff. Like I think it's so much easier to make that switch now than like maybe like 10 years ago. It's like
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't find it difficult to like switch over like for myself personally at all, which is really nice.
So something I've also been wanting to talk about with you is the discussion of faux leather and real leather, and like which way you feel like you lean towards, or if you're
Yes.
undecided, or thoughts, opinions.
Yeah, I feel like I'm always like somewhere in between because I think that leather is so much more durable than any like faux leather that has come out, because a lot of faux leathers are plastic, even though now they're coming out with like, I don't know, pineapple leather or like mushroom leathers or that type of
Which is
stuff,
cool.
which is really cool, but I don't think they've been around long enough to really like withstand the test of time. Because like
Yeah.
there's so many leather pieces that are like hundreds of years old that are still like intact and great. But like we're not going to know that about these like newfound leathers for a hot minute. So I think it's obviously more sustainable to have something that's of that higher quality. But obviously, like, the animal cruelty part of it isn't that great. And I know that the meat industry is super harmful and like it's a byproduct of that too. So it's like, what are you, I don't know, supporting it is like kind of bad, but at the same time, the quality is so much better, I feel like.
Yeah, I know. I feel similar. I don't know where to go. A
Mhm.
part of me feels like, okay, I'm obviously a vegetarian and I don't eat meat, so like
Right.
why would I buy real leather and make clothing from it? But at the same time, knowing how harmful the faux leathers are, like the
Exactly.
synthetic ones, the chemicals. Actually, I was talking about this with you briefly.
Mhm.
I made a dress
Mhm.
that I'm in love with. It's like leather cutouts.
Right. Oh,
Bought the
I love
fabric
that
at
one.
Food, loved it, was ready to sell it online.
Mhm.
Even had some like potential orders lined up.
I would
Went
have
to
been
go
one of
order
those.
went to go order the fabric online, and online it said in bold letters that the fabric has like cancerous chemicals, materials used,
Right.
like almost like as a disclaimer.
Mhm.
And what's interesting is because I bought it in store, I did not know this, but when you
Right.
order things online, certain states have like rules and restrictions on informing the consumer about those potential risks. So,
Right.
yeah, I felt very conflicted. I mean, obviously, I did not buy the fabric.
Right.
Honestly, like I would be the person the most at risk because I would be purchasing the fabric,
Mhm.
unraveling the fabric, and then cutting it, sewing it. So I'm the one who's getting like the firsthand emissions of
Right.
it, and I was not going to do that to myself. But then
No.
also because I am selling to other people, like it would be too hard on my conscience
Yeah.
to sell something like that to people. But yeah, I feel conflicted. I honestly don't have like an actual opinion on it. I don't know which one is better, which one is worse.
Right.
I don't know if in as like a whole it's just bad, and maybe
Right.
like we shouldn't be even like celebrating and wearing leather period, and making it
Right.
in a mass production type of way. So I'm always curious to know like how people feel about it.
Yeah, I
So
think
I can make like a better decision because I don't
yes.
know.
Yeah, I feel like obviously at the end of the day, maybe the best option would be to just not even use leather. But like, I personally love leather so much. Like the
And
look of
leather is
it,
in
I'm obsessed.
everything. It's in everything.
Oh,
And I have so many pairs of sneakers. I can't not
literally same.
I
I'm like,
can't.
it's impossible.
Yeah, it's very hard to avoid. So
Yeah.
I don't know. But like you said, I mean, the fact that there are leather like pieces and jackets out there that are hundreds of years old, and you can
Right.
find them in stores, and then someone can secondhand wear them, and they'll literally never, I mean, for the most part, I would say like you kind of have
Right.
to take care of your leather and
I
treat
mean, yeah, for
it,
sure, as with everything, but
but it definitely will withstand like generations. So that aspect is really cool because I think most garments and materials you can't say that about.
exactly.
um but yeah, I don't know. I'm honestly curious. I don't know if people can like comment their
I
opinion.
would love for people to comment their opinions.
That
I
would be
feel like,
great.
yeah, I feel like I haven't talked about this too much. I think I talked about this with one other person. My dog is awake now.
Oh,
Anyway,
hi
so if you can hear panting in the background, that's just my dog. Um, anyway,
But yeah, it would be great to know, like from a consumer standpoint, especially like all the information I just gave you. Would you feel like, I'll take a risk with the cancerous materials, or are you like, I don't really want to kill the animal?
I mean, I guess I'd rather not take the risk, but that dress was really cute. So, oof.
I mean, I wear the dress all the time
I
still,
would
so
too. Still. But obviously it would be like alarming if I saw that on like a website and was about to purchase something. I'd be like,
okay,
all
but
about that.
listen, like we know this because we buy fabric, but
Yes.
if you're just buying things online or in person, think about all of the dyes and toxins that are
Right.
used in like creating the fabric, holding the fabric together. And honestly, don't like to think about it so much because it
Mhm.
stresses me out. Like it
Oh
really
yeah.
gives me anxiety. But
Yeah.
even when it comes to like furniture,
Oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, it smells. I'm pretty sure like there are rules on when you buy a mattress, you're supposed to like let it sit out for like a few days so that like
Mhm.
the emissions can get off. But that just goes to show you how much shit is like in the products that
Everything.
we buy. And
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we should be a little bit more informed.
Yeah, I know. I feel like once you go down that, it's just such a rabbit hole of like thinking about absolutely everything that you have that's like yours and then like not knowing what it's made out of or like how it was made or what could be in it. Even just like I don't know, candles in general. I feel like lately a lot of people have
Candles
been
are
like,
so bad for you, and people do not
exactly.
know that.
Yeah, and I feel like I recently just realized that because I follow a lot of like, I don't know, small business like candle makers that like either make them like without scents or only make them with like very specific natural scents because they'll talk about
Hmm.
how harmful it can be. And I'm like, I've lived my entire life like at my parents' house, like with like Bath and Body Works candles, and everybody's like saying those are
Yes,
the worst. I'm
yes,
like,
that was
I
a
have
trend.
breathed like millions of those in my lifetime. Like that's so scary.
I know. And it's also very deceiving because obviously they have like lovely scents, but
Right.
the truth is like once you light that candle, there's so many other hidden chemicals that you're breathing in. And
Exactly.
typically also you're lighting a candle like in a closed space and there's not
Yes.
like airflow going on. I mean, depending on like your AC, if you have a window open, but
Right, right.
yeah, it's not good for you to be breathing in that shit.
No, it really isn't. And it's just like it's scary to think about with everything. Even like food. Sorry. Okay, my dog is wanting to get down. Anyway.
Oh, good. Yeah, no, with food, that's like a whole other discussion. I
Ugh,
don't,
I know.
I know this is a fashion podcast, so I
I
don't
know.
want
I
to
always
get
get off
into
track.
it. But listen, like there's a lot of harmful things in your food, and if you're listening, you should Google or do some
Yeah,
research.
you really should. It like I know I shouldn't get into this conversation too much because we should focus on more fashion things, but like in like Spain in my hometown, everything's like locally grown and like
Mhm.
everybody in the town basically has their own farm. Like my family like all has their own farm. So they all like grow their own things and like share it
Wow,
with the neighbors and like even
that's
like all the meat
amazing.
is like homegrown. So everything is just so good and so fresh. And like I could literally feel that in my body. Like I in the States am usually like pretty gluten intolerant, so I like avoid it at all costs because
Mhm.
it like just like does not sit right with me. But in Spain, I can eat gluten all day long and like not affect me as much. Like obviously I still get like a little bloated from it, but it doesn't like hurt my stomach like it does in the States. I'm like that
Yeah,
just
and
like
also like the laws are
shows you so
different.
much. Yeah,
The laws are
exactly.
so different in Europe or really in any other place like other
Right.
than the US. Basically the laws here are shit
Yes.
and there's a lot of stuff that just gets passed by into our food and is
Yeah.
approved and is put on the shelf at the grocery store. So that's honestly like one of my biggest dreams is after all this is over, I just want to own a farm and literally have a
Yes.
garden and just be like self-sufficient and grow all my own food. So
Yes.
that's really awesome and I'm very jealous.
Yeah, it's the best.
Actually, okay, I have one question down, and it's actually what I already asked you about, like if you face challenges as a sustainable brand. So,
Yes. Yes, I do face a lot of challenges. I feel like yeah, I feel like I get so stressed about just like where I source everything from because there's certain things you just can't source sustainably and it stresses me out. Things like
yeah.
notions like thread and like zippers and random things like that I'm like, how do you even go about trying to source that sustainably? Like I don't think it even exists.
I mean, the only way you would really be able to find a sustainable option is by creating your own and like
Exactly.
going through a manufacturer and actually making like a custom button or trim.
Right.
I've seen a few recycled zippers, but even that I honestly have mixed feelings about a lot of things now because I've been
Yep.
learning that like recycled materials are actually bad or not bad because
Right.
technically you are getting like a second use out of whatever material it was, but
Mhm.
just like the process of breaking it down
Yes.
because polyester plastic, so
Mhm.
polyester is plastic, when,
Right.
when they melt it down and then they like reform it, recreate it. Honestly, I'm like not the most knowledgeable on like the process,
Right.
but I just think there's like a lot of sus things going on that we don't know
Yes.
about. Like even with thrifting, I used to think for the longest time that like thrifting was always going to be the best, but like within the thrift like retail or community or whatever you want
Mhm.
to call it, there's a lot of corruption. Like there's
Oh yeah.
a lot of trash. I mean, I don't want to say trash, but like people just dropping off all of their stuff
Yes.
at a donation center, and then people going through it and then basically just sending it to a third world country, and then it just
Yes.
ends up in their landfill. So even though you think that you're doing the good thing by
You're
like
not.
giving it a second life, if you're just kind of like carelessly throwing whatever at the donation center, there's a good chance that it's just being sent overseas and it's in the water. And then a lot of people don't know
Mhm.
this, but because polyester is plastic and there's so many garments made out of polyester, when that shit goes in the ocean, it's basically the